And now it's time to start the evil within. First of all, I'll put the brightness up to like 55 or something like that, so it's a little easy to see. I'll put it on survival, which is normal, which is pretty standard stuff really. I don't like playing games on easy. This game has a few moments where you'd probably want to put it on easy, but I'm going to stick with normal for this. The game's pretty long, like compared to the rest we've done. Like the first run through is about 12 hours, so this should take us a bit longer than before. The load times are pretty long. I'm going to keep this load time in so you get an idea, but then after that I'll probably cut out the load times. Now it's going to start with a cutscene, so I'm going to shut up so you can appreciate the opening cutscene.
All units, 1199, expedite cover code 3, Deacon Mental Hospital.
184 copy, code 3, ETA 3 minutes.
Copy 184.
Sorry, detectives. I know you're just coming off a case, but I'm afraid we're gonna have to make a detour.
Sounds serious. Is it a riot?
A call went out just before I picked you up. Said it was multiple homicides. Half a dozen units already on scene.
131, please advise.
Hey, maybe it's the ghost of that doctor who went schizo and chopped up all those patients.
That's not what happened. Some patients disappeared. Some kind of scandal?
Still, gives you the creeps, doesn't it?
127, 124, please respond.
Joseph, you think there's a connection?
It's a possibility. I believe the records were sealed.
Anyone on scene, respond.
Dispatch, this is Detective Castellanos in 184. What's the situation? Over.
184, be advised. Some problem reaching out on the Deacon Memorial.
Is there any...
God damn it! Jesus!
Junior Detective Kidman. Any thoughts?
Nothing yet. I'm sure we'll know everything once we get there.
What do you make of it?
Connolly, contact dispatch and let them know what's happening. Joseph, Kidman, you're with me. We're gonna have a look around.
Right.
And yeah, so we've been introduced to our main character, Sebastian. We've got a companion in the form of Joseph, and we've got an extra detective known as Kidman, that woman there. Joseph, if you've played Persona at all, Joseph's voice actor you'll recognise. It's Yosuke's character. It's the same voice actor. It's quite funny actually. Sebastian, I wish he kept this coat for the whole game because I think it's a really cool coat. Look at that. The nice rain effect. But no, he loses this coat very early on. And let's see. Anyone who knows Evil Within might be a tad confused at why there isn't a letterbox. I mentioned it in the reveal of this, but later on, like post its release, they eventually released an update that allowed you to get rid of this letterbox, so you could actually see the whole screen. And I'll be working off that for the whole of the game, so you guys can see better. The subtitles still work off the
We're gonna check it out.
letterbox, so if you see the subtitles at the bottom of the screen, it goes a tad dark when it comes up. But apart from that,
You're a backup.
and besides, I'd rather keep the subtitles on because I will talk over like interactive cutscenes. It's only important cutscenes I'll like shut up for, because there'll be another one coming up soon that I'll shut up for. But yeah, this is the hospital.
Hear something?
And when I first went through this, I immediately was assuming that we was going to get some Outlast stuff, that we was going to spend the whole game in this haunted hospital or something like that. But no, they kind of scrapped this haunted hospital thing very quickly and go for a bit more Resident Evil styled, which I can admire because it's a good end of Resident Evil, not the really crappy wishing never happened Resident Evil that we've got in recent years.
Can't be real. Impossible. Ruvik is...
I've got it. The security cameras might tell us something.
Yeah, thanks, Yosuke. I mean Joseph. Right, here's the next cutscene I'm going to shut up for because this one's actually kind of cool. One thing I'll definitely give this game credit for is that it tries its hardest to avoid big obvious jump scares as much as possible. Like you saw there when we got attacked by the guy, there wasn't loud music, it was quite soft and smooth in the way it happened. It wasn't trying to outright scare you, it's just trying to show you that he's a threat. Which I can really appreciate because of how little it's seen nowadays. This is the sadist. He's yeah, we can't deal with him right now. We can only run from him because we haven't got anything to deal with him with. But yeah, this is sort of the tutorial section. Well, chapter 1's not that long. Like most of the chapters, especially late game, take a couple hours a piece. Yet the first chapter here will probably get it all done this part, because a lot of it's quite straightforward. There's no puzzles or mazes or anything like that we'll get later on. There's no boss fights, because yeah, this game has boss fights. Some of them are good, some of them are god awful, which is we'll get to when we get to. But for now, that shining knife probably should be a good indicator of what you need to do. We need to cut ourselves down. And whilst we're like swinging like this, one thing I want to bring up is all difficulty options, because I already saw there was casual and survivor. I'm playing off survivor, which is normal. Once you beat it, you unlock nightmare, and you unlock another difficulty, which I have no idea how to pronounce. It's like some Japanese word that means something along the lines of "you're fucked." And that fourth difficulty, if you decide to go for that fourth difficulty, like the hardest of the hardest, it's literally just nightmare mode, the third difficulty, but everything's a one-hit kill, including environmental hazards. So if you step on like a crate or fall at a certain height, it will just one-shot you. Right, this section here, I should go back to the game. We're trying to not get the attention of the sadist. We can't let the sadist know that we've escaped. But when he walks back there, we need to do something quite risky, and that's walk straight up to the desk he was at and grab the keys and then get out of there before he comes back. So we'll do so. Every time you get the first item, or the first of an item, shall I say, it will give you like a little description of that, so it gives it a bit more of a old school feel, I want to say, like sort of like classic Tomb Raider. I know it's a bit of a stretch of comparison, but it's how it feels. Like you pick up something and it's like, oh, here you go. So it's quite a nice, almost archaic feel to it. Actually, I think I'll move faster stealth. Yeah, I think I'll move faster stealth. We haven't been given access to a sprint button because we haven't been given access to a health bar yet. Yeah, the first chapter is so tutorial heavy that you're not given a health bar. You can still die. One solid hit from the sadist, if he catches you, will probably be enough to kill you. At least it was on my test playthrough. And so we're not sprinting, I'm not holding any button, I'm just holding forward and he's doing this himself. We haven't been given the access to sprint yet. Ooh. And you'd think the sadist would just capitalise and kill you then and there, because he's just slashed the back of your leg, but no, he wants to try and be fancy about it. But if you can't see already, there's a crate in the middle of this, a grate even, that you can just open up and escape from, and that door closes just after it. So you can escape for this before you get like slashed apart. Oh yeah, if you hit these on the way down, they are one-hit kills, so don't do that. This game also has a very archaic nature. There's a lot of one-hit kill moments that you have to be quite ready for, and I wouldn't really say this is a trial and error game though, so it can come off quite annoying sometimes. Like trial and error like games, I expect a lot of one-hit kill moments because you've got to learn, but this isn't really. It's a survival game. I would say survival horror, but it's more of a disturbing than outright horror. And there's a few boss fights as well that work off the one-hit kill mentality, which is one of the biggest problems this game has, unfortunately. Like, I love this game, I really enjoy it, but there's two key boss fights I can think of where you're kind of in a tight area, and if it gets anywhere near you, it's a one-hit kill. And one of them's not actually that far into the game, it's like chapter 5 or 6. But right now we're trying to escape through the sewer line beneath the hospital to try and escape the sadist, who's actively looking for us right now, because it saw us, and it probably saw us go down that grate. So it's going to be seeking us. And we can't even move that fast because Sebastian's slashed. And going through the sewer water, you think it'd get horrendously infected, but no, it doesn't. He actually heals up quite well after a while. It just takes some time. Is there anything in here? Because that's one thing with this game, you have to be actively looking around, because if you just try and go from A to B, by the time you reach the end of the game, you'll have like a pistol, and that's it.
Where's the exit?
You really have to look around and find things, because like, you'll find shotguns, crossbows, even a revolver later on that kicks ass. There's a sniper rifle at one point. You can find medipacks. You can find gel, which is this game's currency. You can find documents like I picked up a minute ago, and the documents are more interesting in Outlast, so I'll give it that. Because a lot of the documents in Evil Within actually explain what happened leading to this, explain some of the experiments that caused this game to happen, and a lot of other details that are actually kind of necessary to the plot, which I didn't feel like you got from Outlast. Outlast, a lot of it was just generic shit. Like, oh no, this bad person's done something bad. Yeah, that's what it felt like, at least. What's this? There's a lot more to it, and even though we do have a oh, what's the word? Like a staple bad guy, sort of like how we had Chris Walker in Outlast. The main villainous being that sort of chases you everywhere is nowhere near as frequent, and is actually relatively intimidating this time. So, yay for that. Like this, it's talking about there's someone appeared during an experiment, and then there'll be a later document that will go on about what that man did. So it brings a lot more of an interesting element to the documents, making you want to keep looking for them. And this game has a very selectively forgiving checkpoint system. And I mean selectively, like some chapters, it's every 5 seconds you'll see the checkpoint bob up, making it near impossible to get stuck. And then other chapters, like, it's either chapter 5 or 6, like right at the start, there's a point where you have to do like 2 massive onslaughts of difficult moments, and it's not a single checkpoint during the whole of it. This section's kind of easy. You just got to stay in the get in the locker and stay there. There is like a hiding mechanic in this, but later on when you start getting more and more weapons, the idea of hiding starts to like lose its reason. Like later on when we are getting shotguns, crossbows with explosive bolts, a revolver, and like, there's something else as well, I can't remember it off the top of my head. You'll just lose reason to ever want to hide. If there's an enemy, you'll just either punch them in the face really hard, or blast their brains out with your revolver or shotgun. And making things' heads explosive is really satisfying in this game. They put a bit too much depth and detail into the graphical blood, shall we? We'll just go with blood. It's already given us another checkpoint. I know we did was sit in a locker. But this section, on your first one, you might make a mistake on, because to say this is vision cone is bigger than most games, like antagonal vision cones. Like, he will spot you from corners and he will spot you in shade, so you have to be very, very careful. And he'll do like quick turnbacks like he's doing now and check everywhere, so you can't just sit still. And like in one hiding spot, he might just spot you out. But what I'm gonna try and do is get behind this box, because there's a bottle that we can pick up and throw to distract him, and then there's another door that's open down the way, like over there-ish somewhere. I'm gonna, oh hang on, oh no he's not, I thought he was looking at me. And I'm gonna launch it down there to distract him, and then while he's distracted, move behind the next set of boxes, which I think there's another bottle, yeah. Now here comes the fun part, because I don't know how long that status is going to be there. Hopefully he'll go towards that bottle. I don't think he is. No, I don't know. I don't think he heard it. I wasted that bottle, so that means I've got to do this the old-fashioned way and wait for him to turn around and hope. Screw it, I'll take the risk. He's going mad with his chainsaw anyway. Sometimes he does that. Like, he has no reason to, he just gets angry, starts shaking his chainsaw everywhere, which is great for us, because it gives us a chance to move. I'm not going to move ahead, because there was a point when I was practicing where I moved straight ahead thinking I was safe, and he caught me in the corner of his eye and chased me in here and just slashed me down. I'll have to keep the bottle with me just in case. No, there's no point throwing it, he hasn't seen. Sometimes the sadist will enter this room behind you, even if he didn't see you go there, just for the sake of video game challenge. But he didn't that time, so I'm going to use it to my advantage and just keep the bottle and move on. Is there anything interesting here? No. Huzzah, the lift! And oh no, the sadist! Oh, even Sebastian is like, oh. Sebastian's kind of a cool character in my opinion. Admittedly, he is kind of generic in some places, like especially when you start learning about his past and things like that, but at the same time, I kind of like his element of genericness. Like, he's kind of just like a hardened character you can get down with and just get used to. Like, at first he's kind of intimidated by all this, but later on he just doesn't give a damn. He's just like even now, like his first port of call is not, oh god, what the hell was that? He just sort of sits there and just goes, spits a bit of blood and just says, you know what, I'll get a cigarette. And then he hasn't got any. Yeah, and that's pretty much the tutorial. We're not at the end of chapter 1, but that is the end of the tutorial, and their way of showing it is by showing this opening cutscene that has a song in the background that's probably copyrighted, so I'm going to keep talking. As much as it's a good song, I'm going to have to keep talking over it, unfortunately. You can look it up, it's in the soundtrack for Evil Within. I think it's called Long Way Down, and it's a pretty nice song. And it gets the point across it's trying to for the themes and elements of this game. And this game, its plot, especially in the second half, starts to get quite complicated. And I'll try and keep up with it as much as possible and try and explain it to you guys in as simple form as I can. But if there's some elements that I just can't make sense of, then I apologise in advance. I don't know this game as well as I'd like to. Right, now we're back at the ground floor, the hospital where we started, and this is the fastest we can go right now. Something will happen in a second which will allow us to run that. Also, we're going back to like the plot thing I was on about. Elements of the plot, like what's going on now, I could explain to you because I know what's going on, but because the game doesn't want you to, I'm not going to explain it. But now we've got another relatively long cutscene, so I'm going to shut up so you guys can see what's going on in this poor city.
Detective! Get in! Get in! Where's Joseph? Man, I'm sorry, but you never came out. I waited, but... Please, settle down, Leslie.
Settle down, Leslie. Settle down, Leslie. Settle down, Leslie.
Shit! There's no going back.
out from everyone?
Everyone must be dead.
Everyone all right back there?
Just a few bumps. We're fine.
Fine. Fine. Fine.
We will be once we're far away.
Fine.
A little further and we'll be fine.
Fine. Fine. Fine. Fine. Fine. Fine. Fine.
Fall! Fall!
Look out!
Fall! Fall! Fall!
And that is the whole of chapter 1. Next time on The Evil Within, we'll escape the ambulance and start venturing through chapter 2 to see what we can find in this twisted world. Until then, take care.